Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wasallam. I would like to welcome Prof. Jomo and also participants and attendees to our IRF webinar. Again, as part of a series of discussions during the time of the COVID-19 virus threat that we are facing in Malaysia and globally as well. For those participating in this session today, this is just, I will start with informing that this is part of a discussion that we've already started since I think almost 6 weeks back, when the movement control order started to be in place. And we've covered some important theme of discussions relating to how the threat of COVID-19 affects the situation of democracy, of freedom of religion, the rule of law, with several key distinguished speakers, including Prof. Shad Salim Faruqi discussing about rule of law, and last week we had Dr. Chandra Muzaffar discussing the effect of COVID-19 towards the global world order. And today, our discussion is also going to be covering something which is definitely very important. And I will just, as at the current time, you know that the movement control order perhaps is moving towards its end phase. It's good to know that the progress of, I would say, general recovery when it comes to dealing with the COVID-19 virus threats, we are already moving towards the phase of recovery, and almost 6 weeks or almost 2 months actually under the movement control order and the lockdown, sorry, not lockdown, but generally in other places, the lockdown is also moving towards an end. And I think it's not globally, the main attention of the world now is how do we look into the recovery phase, and most media discussions and also discussions among scholars as well is addressing the issue about the economy. It is generally accepted that, or acknowledged that, the situation of the global economy is going to move into a recession. It could be bad recession, and several scholars as well have already claimed that such a recession that would happen in over the next several months to a year, or even longer than a year, could reach to be as bad as the historical situation, or even worse than what is usually called the Great Depression over almost 100 years. And the situation of the global economy certainly would also affect the economy of Malaysia, heavily relying on a very trade-based economy. And we have already seen over the past several weeks that the government have also taken several actions, including what they call the bantuan prihatin to the people, to at least to address the needs of the people, the urgent needs of the people of the time, that would cover the most basic needs within this past several weeks and short time. And Bank Negara has also taken some actions, but still, when it comes to looking into the longer term of the effects of the COVID-19, we could generally expect that we could generally expect that in order for us to improvise on the economic recovery, there are several new measures that must be taken into consideration, especially when it comes to the employability, the rate of the employment among the people, and also the small and medium enterprises. So knowing that we are moving towards the looking into recovering into a phase of the economy, and the pre-COVID-19 global economic condition orders generally under a global capitalist order also has been generally acknowledged as to be an instrumental, plays an instrumental role to economic growth, but also at the same time have caused disastrous effect to environment, social and political values, and also rising inequalities and economic injustice. So as now the discussion is focusing on revitalizing the economy, are we going to just completely looking into the previous models, or should we also take into consideration and consider other alternative models? Should we take step back and consider models which will also definitely ensure a more inclusive participation of economy and ensuring economic equality and social justice? So in order for us to discuss further on this topic, I would like to briefly read through the biography of our speaker today. Professor Dr. Jomo Kwame Sundaram is a prominent Malaysian economist. He holds the Tun Hussein Owen Chair in International Studies at the Institute of Strategic and International Studies Malaysia, and is visiting senior fellow at Khazanah Research Institute, visiting fellow at the Initiative for Policy Dialogue, Columbia University, and adjunct professor at the International Islamic University, Malaysia. He was also a member of the Malaysian Council of Eminent Persons who advises the federal government of Malaysia. Prof. Jomo served as the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Economic Development in the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs during 2005 to 2012, and then as Assistant Director General and Coordinator for Economic and Social Development at the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations in Rome during 2012 to 2015. Prof. Jomo was also Research Coordinator for the G24 Intergovernmental Group on International Monetary Affairs and Development during 2006 to 2012. During 2008 to 2009, Prof. Jomo served as advisor to Father Miguel de Escoto Brockman, President of the 63rd United Nations General Assembly, and as a member of the Stiglitz Commission of Experts of the President of the United Nations. Prof. Jomo is a leading scholar and expert on the political economy of development, especially in Southeast Asia, who has authored and edited over 100 books and translated 12 volumes, besides writing many academic papers and articles in the media. I would like to welcome Prof. Jomo here.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for being here. And just to inform our attendees and participants for this session, we are going to cover the discussion in more like a bilingual, meaning that if there's any questions and comments in English or Bahasa, we would be able to tell that. And on the question, if any participants would have questions, please do visit the Q&A section of Zoom, and then I will address the questions later. Okay, without further delay, I would like to invite Prof. Jomo